Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden engine that powers pretty much all the software you use, Git and GitHub. I mean, have you ever stopped to wonder how thousands of developers all over the world can build something as gigantic as the Windows operating system without it all just collapsing into total chaos? Well, that's the puzzle we're solving today.
I mean, really, think about that for a second. The Linux kernel has over 27 million lines of code, and thousands of different people have contributed to it. How on earth do they add new features and fix bugs without constantly tripping over each other and breaking everything? It seems completely impossible. But the solution is actually pretty brilliant.
And no, it's not magic. It's an incredibly clever system that's built on two core tools that work together perfectly. And if you can get your head around these two, you'll understand the foundation of all modern software development.
Okay, so first things first, let's get the biggest point of confusion out of the way. On one side, you've got Git. Git is the tool. It's a program that lives right on your computer. And you can think of it like a super-powered time machine for your code, keeping track of every single change. On the other side, you've got GitHub. GitHub is the place. It's a website, a service in the cloud that holds all your Git projects. It adds this amazing layer of collaboration on top. It's kind of like the social network where your code hangs out.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with how Git organizes things on your computer, then we'll get into the daily commands you'll be using. After that, we'll dive into the real magic, branching, and finally, we'll see how it all comes together on GitHub with something called a pull request.
To really get Git, you first need to understand its local structure. It's known as the three-tree architecture, and honestly, it's the mental model you need for everything else we're about to cover. Okay, so this is the journey every single one of your changes takes. It all starts in your working directory. That's just the folder on your computer where you're editing your files. Now, when you've made a change you like, you don't save it directly. Instead, you move it to the staging area. I love this analogy. Think of it like a shopping cart. You can put a change from one file in, another from a different file. You basically gather up all the related changes you want to save together. Then, once your cart is ready, you save that whole snapshot to your local repository. That's your project's permanent history.
So, how do you actually move your code through those three areas we just saw? Well, it boils down to a simple three-step cycle of commands. This is the daily rhythm for millions of developers around the world.
It all kicks off with git add. Once you've made some edits in your working directory, this command is how you pop them into that shopping cart, the staging area. You're basically telling Git, hey, these specific changes right here, I want to get them ready for my next save. Next up is git commit. This is the big one. It takes everything that's currently in your staging area and saves it as a permanent snapshot in your project's history. Now that M part is for your commit message, and let me tell you, this is absolutely crucial. It's not just some random note. It's the headline that explains why you made this change. Trust me, 6 months from now, you'll be so glad you wrote a clear message. And finally, git push. See, up until this very moment, all your saves, all your history, it's been entirely on your own computer. Git push is the bridge. It's the command that sends all your committed changes up to the shared repository on a service like GitHub, so the rest of your team can see what you've done. Now, you can probably see a potential problem, right? If everyone is just pushing their changes to the main project all the time, things would get messy, fast. This is where Git's most powerful feature, its absolute superpower, comes in: branching. This is the key to teamwork. The best way to think about a branch is that it's a parallel universe for your code. Seriously, when you create a branch, you're essentially making a copy of the project at that exact moment. Then, you can go nuts in this new universe. Build a crazy new feature, experiment, fix a really tricky bug, and all the while, the main, stable version of the project stays completely safe and untouched. And the workflow is actually pretty straightforward. You start by creating and switching over to your new branch. Then, you just do your thing in this safe, isolated space using that same add and commit cycle we just learned. Once your feature is finished and working perfectly, you just switch back to the main branch and merge your work, safely weaving your new code back into the main project. So we have these branches for working in our own little bubble, but how do we propose bringing our amazing new work back into the main project for everyone else to use? Well, this is where GitHub really shines, with a concept called the pull request. A pull request, or PR as everyone calls it, is pretty much what it sounds like. After you push your branch up to GitHub, you open a PR to formally request that your changes get pulled into the main branch. But here's the magic. It's not just a request. It becomes this central hub for discussion, for code review, and for making sure the quality is top-notch.
This whole process is like a built-in quality checkpoint. As soon as a PR is open, a couple of things happen. First, your teammates can look at every single line of code you wrote, ask questions, and suggest improvements. And at the same time, automated systems can run a whole suite of tests to check for bugs. It's a system designed to catch mistakes before they cause problems. Only after it passes both the human review and the robot checks does the code finally get merged.
Now, this collaboration usually happens in one of two ways. For most teams inside a company, you'll use the feature branch workflow, where everyone is creating branches inside the same main project. But for huge open-source projects, you'll often use the fork and pull model. That's where you make your own personal copy of the entire project, called a fork, make your changes there, and then submit a pull request back to the original.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from your local computer all the way to the cloud and back. So now let's put it all together and trace the complete journey of a single change from start to finish.
All right, here's the whole shebang. It starts locally, with you. You work on your files, you add them to your staging area, and you commit them to your history. Then you push your work up to GitHub. That kicks off the team part. You open a pull request, which leads to code review and automated checks. And finally, when everything looks good, your code gets merged into the main branch. That loop, right there, is the engine that builds our digital world. So what you've just learned isn't just a list of commands. It's the blueprint for modern creation. It's a system that allows thousands of people to work together and manage incredible complexity, safely and efficiently. You now understand the fundamental secret of how the software that runs our world gets built. The only question left is, what are you going to build with?